example of a little bumblebee, right, who looks as though he's going to die, but he's actually not, right? This is what they do. When you see them like this, they are resting, okay? And then they will be healthy in the next 10 or 15 minutes and they will fly off and get back to work. So don't think that you're doing the right thing by stomping on them, by putting them out of their misery, because they are not suffering. He is merely resting, okay? This is a perfect example. I only just recently learned this myself, because I actually used to stomp them as well, thinking that it was better for them rather than to suffer. But he's not suffering, okay? So please, people, send this message on to all your friends, because bumblebees are one of the most important things in the insect world, okay? So just let them do their job. Don't stomp them. Just if they were to die, for example, anyway, just let them die of natural causes. So share this with your friends. He's not dying. He's only resting, okay? Thank you, and I hope this goes viral, because this is very, very important. Okay? Alright there, little Mr. B. Okay, there you go. There you go, look at that. They're actually friendly little guys, you know. Look at that. It's okay, come on. They'll cling right onto your finger and they won't sting you if he doesn't feel a threat, you know what I mean? I think they're the most beautiful little things, honestly. They're just astonishing. Look at that. If you can see on their wings, right, bees, theoretically speaking, according to scientists, bees, right, their wingspan, according to their weight, is like flying a Volkswagen Beetle with, I can't remember what it was, like, but it's, scientists think it's basically physically impossible, but people also think that that is veins inside of a bee's wing. It's not veins, they are little hollow tubes, and the buzz that you hear is resonance coming from them, and resonance actually makes them hover, so they levitate. They don't fly, they levitate. And scientists could never figure out how they managed to make hexagonal shapes in their beehives. Well, if you look at 342 hertz is your average, or it's 432, I can't remember. But if you were to record the resonance of a bee's hive, you would get round about that kind of recording frequency, 342 to 432 hertz, and that is why the honeycomb is actually hexagonal. It's the resonance from the bees buzzing that actually creates the shape of the hive, the hexagons. So look into that. Look up a guy called Michael Tellinger on YouTube, and he's a South African guy, and he did a whole thesis, you know, like a whole speech. It was about 3 hours long on this sort of thing, and how people in the past, way back in history, were actually able to build those huge monolithic temples, with those huge big like, you know, things like Stonehenge and stuff like that. They reckon that they moved them with sound and resonance, and we've lost that technology over time. Well, this technology lies in the wing of this little fella right here, and dragonflies, etc. Check into it, it's very interesting. Sound and resonance can actually, well, it is actually everything. Sound is everything. Check it out. I'm going to keep an eye on this little guy and see if he doesn't fly off soon. But he's just chilling. Anyway, enjoy the video, folks, and pass it on, please, okay? That's just the most magnificent looking little thing ever. It's just fantastic. I wish I had a magnifying glass or a microscope to look at those little tubes. And apparently those little tubes have cone shaped things in them, besides little hairs. And that Michael Tellinger on his video was actually finding these cones everywhere on these like Mayan temples and stuff, where they couldn't figure out how they managed to move those massive blocks, because we don't have any technology today that could move blocks the size of the blocks in some of these monolithic temples and stuff that they're finding all over the world, South America, Peru, etc, etc. They kept finding these little cone tools, and they think that's got something to do with sound and resonance, able to control and move objects with absolutely little or no effort, which I'm interested in. That's my hobby, checking that thing out. If I had money, I would have a whole sound lab, you know, because there was a guy who had 17 or 18 terminally ill cancer patients, and he developed a sound machine. His name was something Riley. If you look up the Riley machine, this guy, this is on YouTube, Riley as in R-I-L-E-Y, he developed a sound machine, yeah, and basically just pulsed these sounds through these terminally ill cancer patients, because he found the resonance of the cancer cells and duplicated it, and was able to shatter every single cancer cell. And people that were basically told they were going to die within a matter of weeks were cured within like a matter of days, 17 of them, right? And he tried to get his medical findings, you know, with sound and resonance promoted, but they made him look like a lunatic, and they killed his work. Why? Because the money's not in the cure, it's in the medicine. You know, so it was a horrible thing. It's just, who knows what the government holds back from us, folks. You know, cancer doesn't even need to be here at all, ever. You know, this guy could have cured kids, like everybody from cancer. But nah, people are going through torture with radiotherapy and still end up dying. It just makes you so angry sometimes. Except the thing is, the guy that created this little guy here is the guy that's going to help us walk out of this pandemic with our heads held high. Yeah, I'm starting to wake up. Check it out. I'm going to pause this and watch him fly off, right? I think he's had his wee rest. I'm not sure exactly how long is it the rest for, but I'll pause it just now, right, and then show you take off. See you later, folks.